Can I have a cappuccino, please?
Yeah.
So I've been handed a key, not a hot drink. And what could this be for? No, not going to be for that. No, I hope it's not for that. What is that? This must be it. What's this? Not quite the kind of cappuccino I had in mind, but I'm not complaining. So, behold, ladies and gentlemen, the Suzuki Cappuccino. No, fear not, it isn't really far away. It's just a few meters in front of me. That car really is that small. So I've got the owner, George, to my right-hand side. He's going to come in, talk us through the car a little bit more, and then of course we're going to go for a spin. So George, take it away. First question I want to ask you, why a cappuccino? There's many Japanese cars around. Why this?
So, super from Wish, to start with.
Or Temu.
Or Temu, yeah. Also, Initial D. I kind of saw one on there on one of the stages, thought that looks really cool. Did a little bit of research. I've seen the amount of parts you can get for them and seen them modified and thought, yep, I really want one of them.
Yeah.
I drove about 4 hours to go and test drive this one after I saw it on Facebook Marketplace, messaged the guy and was like, is this still available? About 50 pictures of the car later, arranged to go see it, drove 4 hours to go see it, one test drive later and I fell in love with it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, once you've travelled 4 hours for anything, you're kind of half committed anyway. So, for those of you that don't know, this was made between 1991 and 1998, and this is what's called a Kei Car. So for those of you that don't know, essentially these are cars made for the Japanese market that have to be small, lightweight with an equally small engine to match. Speaking of which, we will show you the engine, but off camera, George set me a challenge to try and find the bonnet release handle and also the boot release handle. So this could take most of the video. I will hand the camera over to George. Careful, it's surprising. That camera's surprisingly heavy. Right, okie dokie. So I think we should get a stopwatch on the screen, like that. So all I know is that it's somewhere in here. Okay, right. So first place, that's a glove box. It's not that.
Wrong.
Nope, it's not that. Right, could be similar to my MX-5. I've got a red button here. What's that do? Is that an ejector seat?
That ejecto seat, cuz. That would actually be the roof.
Ah,
So
we'll do it later. Right, so it's not like the MX-5, although there is a fuel filler.
So that's the fuel release catch. You found one of them.
Ding, 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 ding. Right, we're off. Okay, so that's that sorted. So I've still got boot release and bonnet release.
So there is, I'll give you a hint, there is no boot release, it's all on the key. But the bonnet release, yeah, that's the interesting one.
I've had an idea. Is it in the driver's door shut?
So you're in the right area to start with.
What, when I was here?
No.
When I was there?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
It can't be that deep down, surely. No. Oh, hang on. Is it in the glove box?
It is in the glove box.
Oh, yay! Yay! Yes, onto the engine. And again, it looks like it's really far away, but it's not. It's just there. So, for a Kei Car to be a Kei Car, the engine displacement can be no larger than 660cc, and in the Cappuccino, I believe it's 657cc. So they did it with 3 left over. So about 65 horsepower.
So from factory they were 64.
64.
And this, a mighty 65.
Wow.
After 32 years.
You've gained a horse. You have an extra horse in your stable.
One entire horse.
Now, interestingly, Suzuki claimed that this could do 62 miles per hour in 8 seconds. Granted, it only weighs 725 kilograms, but that seems optimistic.
That's quite optimistic, to be perfectly honest. I mean, maybe downhill, but
yeah, the torque is 76 pound-feet, which converts it to newton meters to 103, I believe. Top speed is thereabouts 80, 85.
So 87 was the top
87.
speed on them. However, this is delimited, so you can go a bit quicker than that. So I had 120 on the Autobahn.
I mean, that must have been quite hair-raising.
Yeah, I had the roof on as well, and if you have the roof off, it's even more terrifying as well.
Now, speaking of which, actually, whilst we're here, let's play another game, Spot the Turbo. This is a game we played off camera. I got there eventually, but the turbo is, well, you're never going to see it on camera, but you've got the very diddy small exhaust manifold. I won't touch it because it's still going to be a bit hot, but it's right down there where you can't see it.
And about the size of a Coke can as well.
Yeah. Now, we mentioned the roof a few moments ago. If you pop the bonnet down, good sir. Now, this has got quite an interesting roof. You can have quite a few different settings with it. So at the moment, the roof is fully on, but this is a 3-piece unit. So you can take these two bits out, one either side, have it as a targa, or you can take the whole thing off and have it as more like a retractable fast top. Or the roll bar goes down and you can go full convertible, can't you?
Yep, and also the roof does actually fit in the boot, amazingly enough.
I mean, that's quite surprising. The spoiler, we have to talk about the spoiler. I'm guessing that isn't standard.
So no, that's not standard. But I'll admit, I haven't put that on myself.
So you don't know where this has come from?
I don't know where this has come from. It was already on it when it was in Japan.
Yeah.
But I will admit, I was going to go for a duckbill or something along those lines for it if it had been a stock one. However, I did kind of see this, thought it's absolutely ridiculous, but I love it.
Yeah,
so.
It certainly adds to the character of the car. The car in general is bonkers, and someone's gone, you know what, I don't think this car is quite mad enough. Let's stick a wing on it that's half the size of the actual car that we're fitting it to. I mean, it is, I really hope the camera gives you some perspective of how big it is. Sadly, the lens isn't quite fulfilling the task properly, but believe me guys, it's prominent.
And it's more height than a Supra wing.
What's that?
And more height than a Supra wing.
There we go. What more do you want? Let's quickly talk about the interior. Not too much going on in here, but of course it is a basic car. So you bought the car with this seat. It's a Super Bucket Safari, which looks pretty comfortable.
It holds you in very well.
And then you've got the Momo detachable steering wheel. And if you love your JDM goodies, come round here. Look at this. Got original filter sticker from Japan, and we've got some gauges in here as well. Look at those. But yeah, as you would expect from a Japanese car from the 90s, the inside is quite a basic affair, but that's not a bad thing. Many of you will know I own a Mark 1 MX-5, which is also a Japanese car from the 90s. Right, let's just get the polarizer sorted, because you can't see the gauges. So you can just about see that one. There we go, that's more like it. You can see the gauges properly now. You can just about see that one, so that's pretty cool. And apart from that, it's pretty standard Japanese 90s loveliness in here. So what we'll do is we'll attach some GoPros and go for a spin. So is this on standard suspension?
So it's on coilovers at the minute.
Yeah.
I would give you the name, however I can't pronounce it. It's a Japanese suspension setup.
Right.
However, it sits slightly lower than just a standard cappuccino, which I quite like. I think there's a bit about fitment there.
Yeah. You weren't lying, it is noisy in here.
Yeah, it does get quite noisy in here, that's why it's very good to be mic'd up on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, might be a little bit bouncier in that seat as well, but
it's not too bad.
This bucket seat does lock you in quite well, so that's good.
I'm surprised your ears weren't bleeding by the time you got to Germany when you drove to the Nürburgring.
I mean, I had my music on, so it's absolutely fine.
I mean, it must have been pretty loud music.
Yeah, normally all the way cranked up.
Something like Metallica or something. So you got the 5-speed manual. These were also available in the 3-speed auto, weren't they? Yeah.
Something just so much more satisfying about manual anyway. I think the autos are actually a bit rarer from what
well, I would have thought so. If it's anything like an automatic MX-5, you can't really find them that much because they're just not desirable. It genuinely feels pretty quick.
Oh yeah.
It's nippy.
I feel like being so low to the ground and being in a car this size as well does tend to help.
Yeah.
You've probably noticed it does tend to rev quite high as well.
Yes, well, I mean, the red line, it goes to 12. Obviously, you can't rev it to 12, but...
So this hits the limiter at 9k.
Right, okay.
So we can rival some Honda S2000s if we really
Yeah.
want to.
Red engine light, what's going on there?
So that would be because, unfortunately, I've hit a Muntjac like a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
So it's now on a stock front bumper because I had one that matched the body kit. Unfortunately, where I sort of went over it as well, it's knocked the speedo sensor out. So the speedo doesn't work. I have learned to know my speed off the revs and what gear I'm in. So currently this is about 50, just over.
Yeah.
In fifth gear at 3.5. But it means that it's also unlimited. So, well, it's unlimited anyway. It's a speed limit. I forgot what you call it now. Defensor or something.
Right.
So, from a car that can technically top out at 87 mile an hour from factory,
Yeah.
I've managed to have 120 out of this on the autobahn. So, that was quite fun. I still got left for dust by my mates, but 120 mile an hour.
I mean, out of this,
0.6 litre.
that's pretty good going.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You can get plenty of upgrades and bits and pieces for these. Like, I think I showed you one earlier where someone had done it up to look like a Dodge Charger.
Yes. Insert image here.
Yeah, so that's amazing. You have kits that make them look like small S14s. Some people have even put pop-ups on these, which I think is amazing. And you just get all sorts of bits and pieces for them. So this is on an open diff. However, you can get a very nice LSD for these, which is a plan further down the road for this. And they tune up to about 120 brake safely as well, which is quite nice.
Yeah, that must feel pretty alarming in something this small and light. Yeah, 725 kilos, about, where are we? About, give or take, 275 kilos lighter than a Mark MX-5, there or thereabouts, don't quote me precisely. Well, probably more like 250, but yeah, considerably lighter than a Mark 1 MX-5, and smaller, of course.
Having driven a Mark 1 MX-5 with no power steering, and given that this has no power steering, I mean, I could literally do that.
Well, the thing is, if it's a light car, you don't need it, and it saves weight of the car because you don't have to worry about a power steering pump.
Yeah, there's one less thing to go wrong. I mean, you get no driver's assist with this, really.
Well,
so
exactly.
What's an ABS? But
yeah. What exhaust is on this?
Right, so I don't actually know what exhaust it is, and they lana guarded over the top of it. Unfortunately, underneath, so I can't find any markings on it. However, I will try and get back to you on that one.
Yeah.
I think my friend has these same
Because it is pretty loud. Not that I'm complaining. I mean, I imagine your neighbours aren't too fond of it.
That's not my problem. But it's a relatively distinctive exhaust to the point where I've been halfway down the road and my mates have been like, yeah, George is coming. So.
Yeah. So how long have you owned this?
So I've had this about 18 months now.
Okay.
And Honestly, I haven't really had to do too much to it yet. Touch wood. So we've had new diff, new prop.
Yeah.
It's 1992 car,
So it's an early one.
You're going to expect a few little things, bits and pieces.
So again, from the light research I've done, with this being an early car, it's got the F6A engine, which is cam belt driven. So the later ones were K6A?
They were the K6A, yes.
Yeah, and they were chain driven, lighter, and had a bit more torque.
Yes, but apparently they can be a little bit harder to work on.
Okay.
From what I've heard, anyway.
Yeah.
The F6A, I know someone that's got a fully forged one they're putting in an Alto, which is capable of 300 brake now. So
yeah,
that's rather interesting.
If someone's thinking about buying one of these, what would be your tips?
Honestly, look for an import. Check for rust. Your standard sort of Japanese car buying tips, really. The engine's pretty reliable. Like, this is on 217,000 kilometers.
Okay.
That's nothing really when you consider the age of the car.
No.
Honestly, just make sure it's been well maintained. Honestly, just your standard things, really.
How easy is it to come across an import?
Well, I mean, you can just import one directly, so you get that bonus of potentially finding a nice import there. If you're doing that as well, I'd recommend probably getting some bits if you do want to modify it as well, because obviously shipping is horrendous from Japan. Yeah. But you can get some really cool bits and some lovely aftermarket parts for these as well out there. Your UK spec ones, basically just make sure it's not rotten. Yeah. Otherwise, you're going to have a hell game there. Other than that, I've found these pretty solid.
What sort of money are you paying for, let's say, a bottom of the barrel one, so one that needs a lot of work compared to one that is nigh on mint and doesn't really need anything apart from petrol?
So, your bottom of the barrel needing a lot of work, you're talking about 1 to 2 grand.
Oh really? Wow, okay.
Yeah, depending on if you can find a real sort of bargain.
I thought it might be a bit cheaper than that. Okay.
And that will probably be one that's got a good bit of rot in it, to be perfectly honest with you. Your mint sort of ones, fully stock, about 7-8 grand.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
At least.
Blimey.
Some good ones that are slightly modified, I've seen up for between 10 and 14.
No.
Yeah. Which seems mental.
Yeah.
However, the one I saw for about 10 grand was had about an A4 sheet worth of just listed bits as a spec sheet, making 120 brake with all of the period correct tasteful bits on it and a full extra body kit as well. Right,
I see. Okay.
So that was one that I would still argue was a very good deal.
Yeah.
They've also gone up recently in price, I found, because a lot of people on YouTube, for instance, are now doing videos of them, making people more aware of them. Yeah. Because I'll be perfectly honest, until I watched Initial D, I had no idea what a cappuccino was. I didn't even really know about Kei Cars, to be honest. I just saw them and thought, oh, that's kind of stupid, but it's brilliant. Drive Tribe did a cappuccino build, didn't they, earlier in the year? Or it might even have been last year, perhaps. Yes. And that's probably spiked the popularity and, of course, the value as well. Yes. Which I'm not going to complain about now I own one. But no. I mean, it might make parts of it a pain in the ass to get hold of, but swings and roundabouts.
For my stint in the cappuccino, I decided I wanted the wind in my hair, and thankfully, taking the roof off is an absolute doddle. Look at that! Targa, baby! Targa! However, there was some feng shui required to get the roof panels to fit in the boot.
In with us. There we go, done it.
Like a glove.
like a glove, but definitely not gonna have the
Well, it's a good thing I didn't want that bit off as well. It just keeps revving and revving and revving and revving and revving, and then there we go. To be honest, I probably could have gone a bit further, but there's a car in front of me, so I had to change up. But it's just, it revs for ages. I love the fact that the red line finishes at 12,000 RPM. Just looking at that, you think, oh, what? It's almost as if someone's got the speedo wrong. Absolutely brilliant. And yes, as George hinted, the speedo does nothing. It may as well be drawn on, but that is a temporary problem. It's not permanent.
That was last week's problem, but I haven't quite had time to get underneath it yet.
That's a problem for future George. Present George doesn't care.
One of the good things about this though, so where I work, I'm forklift certified. Yeah, just keep going straight over for these. I'm forklift certified, so I could just nick one of the work forklifts.
Yeah.
I put some extension bars on it and made some little brackets, so I hit all the jacking points. And then I've lifted this up because it's so light with the forklift, just to get underneath it to have a quick look.
Pedals are quite nicely laid out for heel and toe. Obviously, you got the not the extender, but on the accelerator, you've got a bigger pedal attachment. I think that's the best way of putting it. Oh, it makes so much noise. I love it. With the roof, well, I say we've got roof down with the roof off, partially off, just adds to the experience. It's awesome. Such a fun little car. See, why aren't cars like this being made anymore? Boggles my little mind.
They just lack so much character now. I think I said to you earlier, it's like they've just kind of been, hey, can I copy your homework? Sure, just make a few changes.
Yeah.
Whereas this is just so much character to it.
Yeah.
I mean, even the gauges as well, just a nice another little touch.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, obviously not factory.
It is more nippy than I was expecting.
Yeah.
It doesn't hang about. Of course, a large factor of it is just how light it is.
With the modification that quite a few people do is put a 380 brake turbo Hayabusa in one of these. And at that point it has a better power to weight ratio than a Bugatti Chiron.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
You can either spin around and go back up the bypass or turn right here.
Let's go back up, shall we? Right, that transit's coming round. We can beat them now. Oh, the steering feel, as you would expect with the lack of power steering, is fantastic. Let's take it all the way to the red line. There we go. Oh, I mean, as you climb up there, it really takes off. Although I think peak power comes in at 6,500 RPM.
Yeah,
so beyond there, you're not really gaining much apart from noise, which isn't a bad thing in my eyes. Well, to my ears, I should say.
From what you can hear with all the wind as well.
Yeah.
And in reality, you're not actually going that fast.
No, but it feels like it. Yeah, because you're so low down. And even for someone of my height, the driving position's absolutely fine.
Another lovely little thing about this as well, this mirror extender in particular, you can see everywhere. You also just, oh look, I can see the back end of the entire car just by looking to the side.
Yeah, exactly.
You're never going to struggle parking these.
No.
You can park them in a trolley bay at Tesco's if you need to. And you still get room to get out as well if you need to.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm boxed in next to another car. Hang on, let me take a roof panel out, undo the window and then step out the car. Also done that as well, which is quite entertaining. Again, you don't need massive horsepower or massive car or engine, etc. to have a fun car.
No. Well, as I said to you off camera, there's no such thing as a slow car. It's a slow driver.
Yeah.
Oh, this is beautiful through the bends. Nice, tidy handling, tight, good steering weight, good steering response, more importantly, and just a very good amount of grip.
The best way I can describe these, nippy.
Yeah.
Which I know everyone sort of goes, oh yeah, it's a nippy little car, but I don't think there's much better words to sort of describe.
Yeah. But no, it's just feels really nicely balanced in the corners. You barely haven't used that much steering input really. You're just gliding it through the corners, just easing it gently, just guiding it gently.
And the weight distribution I think is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. Well again, if the internet is to be believed, it's 50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah, who needs caffeine when you got one of these kind of cappuccinos? All the peppiness you'll ever want or need.
So the only thing that has been said to me is if I crash it, it will go from a cappuccino to a flat white.
Hey, very good, very good. And it will cost a latte to fix. Oh.
Also, if you put 13B in it, it'd be a Dorito powered cappuccino.
Whatever you do, don't mock at me for that joke.
Oh no. A bit of a delay there, but better latte than never.
Hey! Oh, dearie me. Yeah, on that note, I think it's time to end. So guys, that has been a lot of fun, but I'm sure you've probably noticed by now that there's been lots of smiles and a fair few laughs along the way. A massive thank you to George for giving up his time and temporarily his lovely cappuccino for the good of YouTube. He has got an Instagram handle, so please do make sure you follow him and follow the car. Actually, that's one thing I haven't asked. Has the car got a name?
I just call it Cappy, to be
Cappy.
perfectly honest.
I mean, it works, that'll do. So yeah, I do really hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. If you want to get your car featured, then get in touch with me on Instagram. You can also message me on Facebook. You can try X or TikTok, but I don't really use as much. Or old-fashioned email. Yeah, that's still a thing. But yes, guys, if you have enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe. If you are subscribed, don't forget to click the bell icon so you get notified every time I make a video. But until the next time, guys, be sure to keep up the car obsession.